We do actually have one more talk, and that will be our our superstar session from Yufan from Ohayoo, our sponsors of the Art of Publishing track, talking about targeted approaches to the casual game market in China.
They're
Yufan, can you?
working, Sophia.
Hello.
They're all working. Thank you, Chris. Yufan, how are you?
Good. I know I'm sorry for causing all this trouble, and I just can't believe that we have to go to the last resort. Even in in 2021, I'm using a phone to dialing.
Well, it seems to be working fine now. Obviously, the only thing I'll say is obviously you've got Chris changing the slide. So if you just let Chris know when you want to change a slide, and he will flick it over to the next one. And in the meantime, I'll remind everyone, if you've got any questions, throw them into the Q&A, and I'll be back at the end, and we'll go through any question and answers that we've got, Yufan.
Perfect. Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Chris. So apologize again that you guys are not going to be able to see me, and we have to do the presentation over phone. So hi everyone here. This is Yufan from Ohio. We are a casual game publisher in China. It's a great honor to be invited by Pocket Gamer to present here today as a guest speaker. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to share some thoughts and insights around publishing casual games in China from the perspective of a local publisher. It is undeniable that casual market is highly active, and it is a genre with great potential that accounted for roughly 78% of the total game downloads worldwide. And when it comes to China, I would like to let everybody be aware that the opportunity is also massive and is welcomed by gamers from all ages. So here I'm going to show you some figures to give you all an overall picture of how exciting this market is. So according to a local market research firm's analysis, the monthly active users of casual games in China have surpassed 400 million in January 2020. And our own internal research jointly conducted with Ocean Engine showing that around 200 million of people are playing casual games on a daily basis in 2020, which generated about over $5 billion in revenue, $5 billion in revenue, both from IAPs and in-app ads. We expect this figure to continue to grow towards the end of the year to record $7 billion. So the market itself is pretty exciting. So the market size is not the only thing that is promising. Other than that, we also observed that the gamer's preference is gradually turning towards casual games. While the mobile download in China have enjoyed a significant growth over the past year, the growth in casual games is even more significant. The total downloads have increased from 360 million in 2019 to almost 530 million in 2020, recording a year-over-year growth of 46% compared to the general mobile games 27%. And also among the top 1,000 most downloaded games, the proportion of casual game is now at 73%, almost 10% higher than a year ago. So we remain pretty confident this trend will continue in the following years. So when faced with such a brand new market that is much different from your familiar ones, a reliable local partner can save people a lot of unnecessary effort or hassle when trying to pivot to China. So Ohayoo will be here to provide developers with a one-stop solution to adapt to the local market. So as shown on the screen, these games have all recorded millions of downloads. And I'm pretty proud to say that Ohayoo played a critical role in publishing these games and introducing them to more players, to more players in China with our capability. So before moving forward with the details of publishing solutions, let me briefly introduce to the Ohayoo brand who we are and what we do here. So when we started out the Ohayoo brand back in 2019, we made a very conscious decision to focus on casual games. We are dedicated to become the most professional and trustworthy casual game publishing platform, serving both developers and players worldwide. And since then, we have become a leading publisher in China. Since the very beginning of February 2019, with a breakout success was a game called Virus War. The game is known as Killing Virus in other parts of the world. It's a very simple shoot-'em up game, but it's innovative because the gamer, they can control laser spacer ships to eject vaccine to kill the virus in this gameplay. So up till now, Ohayoo has assisted numerous developers to publish over 150 casual games, out of which 10 of games are from global developers, and more than 35 games generated a revenue of over $1 million. I believe the figure is much more significant. Between 2019 and 2020, Ohayoo's cumulated downloads boosted significantly from 100 million to 500 million times. So to this date, 20 of our games have made it to the top 10 in App Store. At its peak, on one day, 6 games out of that top 10 was actually published by Ohayoo. So noticeably, among the developers of these hit games, the amount of developers that we work very closely with, 63% of them are small developers with less than 10 people in their team, and 86% of them invested less than $200,000 in game development. To this date, we have distributed back over $100 million back to developers to support their continuous development. So till now, we believe that these developers they hold great assets in creativity, game design, and game development. And all we need to do at Ohayoo is to enable these incredible developers of getting their names and getting their games in front of more users. And we would like to give this opportunity not only to local developers in China, we also wanted to give such opportunities to more developers worldwide. So with all the know-how that we've gained from the past, we really spare no effort trying to push for the robust development and build-up of the casual game sector. So in short, we provide one-stop solution covering creative generations, product optimization, publishing and marketing support, and even IP corporations. So we hope that our one-stop solution can lower the barrier for developers to reach their target audience, as well as lifting the ceiling of the market by unlocking developer creativities, whereas they can focus on what they're good at and let us to take care of the rest. So our publishing solution is tailored for China market based on our insights, and we also can break down the range of support we offered for developers at different stages. So in the case that we've shown earlier, of those 5 top games, we help them either from project initiation by matching the gameplay with a suitable animated IP, or trying to help them with quick iterations on versions and monetization improvement. And in some cases, we even conduct long-term operation for a casual game and help to extend its lifetime value. So I will elaborate on these cases in the later slides. So let's get back on track to today's topic, the art of publishing. So before we go into how we work with developers, let me just lay out the basic foundation on the screen. So everybody know that the revenue is generated from the difference between 2 determinants, the user acquisition cost and the LTV, of course. And those can be optimized in 3 stages when developers choose to work with Ohayoo. So in project initiation, it will help to determine how big the scale is, what user acquisition cost is set out to be. And in optimization stage, that will help to increase the lifetime value. And in the publishing stage, we will help the developers in the game to expand in size. So for most of the game developers, especially the casual game developer, starting out a project is usually the most challenging step, because oftentimes they can decide whether or not the game is set out for great success. And as for casual games, we believe that a simple CTR test is the best way to navigate. So instead of making subjective judgment and handpick a potential gameplay, we will just let the data speak. Besides that, we also accumulate a database full of valuable creative ideas and gameplay prototypes, ideas that we gathered from all different sources, even from short form videos. We also have a pool of animated characters that we can work with, which is to provide the developer with some necessary help when they lacking in creative or when they lacking in visual design that suit their gameplay. So now let's take an Agent Bone. Now let's take Agent Bone for example. This is a third-party shooter game we published globally, and it just went live in UK a few days ago. The game itself was extended from an IP called Mr. Bone on Douyin. Some of you may have heard about Douyin. It's a leading short-form video platform, and it's more well-known as TikTok in other parts of the world. So in this case, we began by picking the gameplay of dodging and shooting from our gameplay pool, and we found out to be pretty accepted and welcomed by gamers from really all ages. After that, by looking at our IP resource, we selected an animated character that is called Mr. Bone, which is positioned itself as a secret agent battling with zombies, and turned out to be a really great match with the selected gameplay we have. So after producing a demo and conducting a CTR test on Douyin, the game was proven to have great potential, and it turned out to be a top hit in China market with millions of downloads. And in addition, the beauty of collaborating an IP and incorporating it into the gameplay help us to lower the user acquisition cost. So with the 5 million followers that is on Douyin from the original IP, the game itself attracts a lot of organic downloads and also accumulated over 620 million of video views on Douyin platform. The game also achieved great success in Japan and Korea and the other parts of the market with Ohayoo's help on localization. So when a project passes on the CTR test, it goes to the second stage of game optimization. We provide valuable data analysis tool for developers to access and understand several key metrics. And in addition, from our own past experience, we gathered some reusable models for retention optimization and monetization to help to extend the lifetime value and also use that model for different game types. So here's another example of a specific optimization model we did on Android. Wobble is a hyper-casual game we published back in early 2020. And it was once ranked both #1 in China and also in US. However, the initial performance of this game was actually not that satisfying. We found out that the same version have very different performance on Apple users versus that on the Android users. So in order to fix the problem, we first need to understand where the problem is. So we conducted a research and found out, on Android users in China, they're actually less resistant to interstitial ads, and they prefer easier game control. So therefore, a series of optimization measures were carried out, particularly for Android users. Eventually, these optimization methods contributed to the improvement of a lifetime value for the Android performance, as the results show that both the retention rate and the average ad show per user increased by more than 50% on these users. So when a product improvement has finished, the game is almost ready to go. And Android has a lot to share about publishing casual games, and Ohayoo has a lot to share about publishing casual games in China. With the massive content platform under the ByteDance portfolio, Ohayoo covers about a 1.5 billion MAU traffic, including Douyin, which has the daily active users over 600 million. These users contributed much to our user growth. The monetization tool that we use, Pango, have gathered over 100,000 mobile advertisers. Moreover, we also have accumulated experience in user targeting and the user research, which will benefit our developers to spend the money in where it counts the most. So other than our traditional strengths in user acquisitions, we also equipped ourselves with a powerful publishing capability using the integrated resource, for example, branding activities, content promotions through various content platforms, and channel distribution. So therefore, we can customize growth and operation strategies for different types of games and also add for different and cater for different needs of the developers. So here I want to use one page to show how short form video is important, why short form video is important, and why it is a natural habitat for game marketing in China. So gaming content on Douyin, and may know it as TikTok. The gaming content on Douyin has quadrupled from 2019 to 2020, and from 2019, the overlap between casual game users and short-form videos is increasing. 91% of the mobile game players, they watch short-form videos, and with 50 to 60% of them, they actually using the platform more than 6 times a day. So short-form videos become the most popular way for people to learn and discover games. It became a powerful tool that we have to master. And a casual game is an ideal fit due to its simple, creative, play anytime and play anywhere nature. Content marketing via short-form video is highly effective, and Ohayoo used that, in every case that when we wanted to promote a game. Also, we recognize the importance of both professionally generated content and user-generated content on these platforms. So as a result, we build strong relationship with key opinion leaders, as well as incentivize the vast community to generate content to maximize game distribution. So next, I will use some example to demonstrate how publishing and marketing services. So here's another game that we published both in China and then brought it to the global stage. The game itself is called Combat Hero. It's a roguelike action casual game, and it ranked #1 in China for weeks in early 2020, and then we brought it overseas in the second half of the year. It has achieved an overall download about 60 million times in China market alone. So we carried out a long-term operation for this game, building on its initial success. Not only we try to incubate the game itself into a well-received IP across different content platforms, we also launched content marketing plans, operating official social media channels, as well as conducted an IP crossover with an animated character called Scissor 7, which is an animation kung fu series to attract new users and activate the existing users after a year this game has launched. So the IP corporation helped to bring them 10,000 organic gamers each day. And our content marketing campaign based on a collaboration with voice actors in Japan also helped to double the monthly active users during that period. So this is another game that we published in China this Chinese New Year, and we plan to bring it to the world stage in the coming months. So this game is called Jade Master. It is a simulation game that we published back in February 2021, and suddenly, and also soon it made to the top 1 during that month. So we sense that the market preference has gradually turned towards mid-core casual games, and there are a strong curiosity that people have for the Jade culture. So basically, the Jade culture is that people, when they own and buy a stone, they have to guess what level and what quality the jade is under that stone. So that topic alone generated a lot of content on many content platforms that we daily tracked. So we put forward this idea to the developers that we work with and asked them, say, why don't you try it out combining a simulation gameplay with the Jade culture to make the game more content friendly. So based on the idea, the developer and us work hand in hand to develop the game and also develop the game. And we also launched a big content marketing campaign when the game is published. So first, we promote professionally user-generated content videos on Douyin platform, and we also created the in-app hashtags to drive more organic videos. You can see that the result was pretty significant as far beyond satisfaction. So over 60,000 videos were created for Jade Master. Many of them are from, general content creators and not professional content creators. And those videos helped to attract about 7 million downloads during Chinese New Year. and half of them are driven by content marketing campaign, not from user acquisition. So as mentioned in the 4 cases that was shown in the previous slides, we offer a one-stop solution from the perspective of a local publisher in China. And Ohayoo helped to deliver local market insights, ideas that we tracked from content platforms, some creative guidelines that help to adapt to the local market, operational support, and also integrated publishing and marketing services. Outside of China, we noticed that there are numerous good global casual game developers with incredible ideas awaiting exploration. So here we welcome developers of all sizes to work with us and to launch your game in China or even in a global scale. We're working very hard to try to reduce the barrier to enter into this market. So basically, we offer 3 cooperation models for those who are interested in bringing their games to China. For those who have a completed game or simply seeking a publisher, we have either exclusive publishing or a localization-friendly model, which is called redevelopment. Or for those who have great idea but is lacking in development resource, we can offer product buyout and where the developer can let us to take care on the remaining development part. So, and also today, I just want to mention that for all the global developers who's willing to work with Ohayoo, we have a time-limited offer. I'm not going to read the entire slide, but for anybody who's interested in working with us in a trial run their product with Ohayoo, we have this bonus offer. And if you're interested, just please contact us through this email. So let me quickly wrap up. As GameSpeed commented a few days ago, Ohayoo is a new kid on the block in the games industry. Compared to other global top publishers, we are pretty young in age, but we are growing at a good pace. Ohayoo's achievement in China has proven our capability of empowering casual game developers to revenue from good creatives. So 100 games published is some level of success, but that was history. We won't stop on a journey discovering good games and lifting the industry ceiling together with developers. And we really look forward to cooperating with excellent global developers and help them to bring games into the bigger stage in China. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Yufan. That was a really fascinating and interesting talk. And we've actually got quite a few questions. So we've got about, 5-10 minutes. So I wondered if you're okay for me to ask you some of the questions.
Sure, of course.
Fantastic. So first up, we've got what sort of Western games are Chinese players enjoying at the moment? Obviously, I think people are factoring in what kind of games you might be looking to publish, what might resonate well with the Chinese audience right now.
Sure. Let me kind of try to break down a couple of, the question. The question I will try to answer in 2 perspectives. And the first one is that, what games people are looking at and what kind of localization advice we should give, right? So oftentimes, let me answer the second part because that's the part that I think is most challenging. Oftentimes when we try to publish game in China, we found that, the visual, the art, sometimes it's just a little bit Western for the Chinese users and for the general public. Because the casual games, they're not just catering to a small size of audience, and they're catering to a greater size of gamers. So therefore, making sure the art and the visual design is not too niche and not too unique is the first step. And when it comes to the game genres, from our own experience, first of all, if the game itself is very creative, let it be a hyper-casual game or another game that was developed out of a creative or a hyper-casual gameplay, oftentimes it can achieve success in China market. And for game genres that we see that have potential to have success in here, action games are good, third-party shooter and FPS games are good, and simulation is good, but sometimes they have to be very specific. It has to cater to the taste to the local market. So those are 3 areas that I think we will welcome, games global developer to submit to us.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. And next up is How are you different in approach from, say, Joypack or other China and Asia focused publishers? What would you say that Ohayoo offers that maybe some of the others don't?
Right. So this is very interesting. I spent a slide talking about short form videos, and oftentimes when people use short form videos, and it's pretty open market, right? You can do user acquisition on these platforms. You can for paid ads, and then you can use monetization tools. It's a pretty open market. It's everybody can use that. However, I think what set out Ohayoo from the other publishers in the market is that, first of all, we keep close monitoring of the content of the platform, understanding what people are reading and breathing every day, what topics they're interested in. Is there a sudden, peak in the topic that they wanted to read and observe? So those help us to generate ideas, and then we record down those ideas that we can give back to the developers to help them with product initiations. That's what I said. What I mentioned as one part of the presentation. And the second part is that short form videos can not only be used as the user acquisition, just a paid user acquisition campaign. The content creators are extremely powerful on these platforms. As long as you incentivize them in the right way, combining your gameplay with content, and then making sure the content creators have enough content to create their own short form videos, they will try to promote your game. So having a good sense of what content can be combined into the gameplay and how you can incentivize them is very important. I think we did pretty well on that. A lot of our games' success was driven from content creation and content-based marketing campaigns.
Fantastic. And we've got a question here from James at the bottom, which is, please could you explain a little bit more about the bonus fund, which was featured in the last slide?
Sure. It's a very simple one. So we offer a trial bonus from $2,000 to $5,000 for developers who submit their games and pass the trial test that conducted with Ohayoo. So basically, it's going to be a reward that was either in cash or in the trial fund that we give back. The further details that will be announced later on, and our business development team is working on that.
Fantastic. So keep an eye out for more information. We'll see if we can sneak in a couple more questions. First one is, what kind of information are you looking for from a developer? Do they have to have, Chinese language ability? Do they have to have certain data and metrics already ready to present to you, or can it be an early build game? What are you looking for from a developer who might be thinking, I want to pitch my game to you?
This is going to be a very broad question.
Yeah.
So the model, so that we have different models that can be offered to developers with different stage of game development in their game development. For example, if you only have a demo or an idea, feel free to send to us so we can tell you whether or not it's a fit. If that game is only tailored for China market, I think it is the best way for us to save them some unnecessary costs. So when they develop 65% of their games. Yeah. So that can be done, but that is kind of a different model when we call it co-development with the developer, because that requires our publishing team to put into a lot of effort trying to hold hand in hand basically with the developers. So for a complete game, we just, we look for typical measures, the retention, average astro, the monetization models, etc., and whether or not they have conducted, big marketing or user acquisition campaigns outside of China. So those are kind of typical figures and metrics we will ask for developers. But really, I think don't worry too much about the stage of development. We always have a model. We even have a model where we deliver the creative and sending the ideas and basically help the developers to develop the game.
Fantastic. Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to ask, because I think it's relevant. I mean, I know we here at Steel Media have a Beyond IDFA free summit coming up on the 20th of April. So next, coming up from 20th of April, today from 6 o'clock. And with Apple's new update launching, possibly even today as well, it's something that's really on people's minds is, do you think these IDFA changes and other privacy changes will have a big impact in the Chinese market, and specifically on the work you're doing? What do you think the effect of this Apple update could be?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be pretty much the game changer, especially for user acquisition on the Apple platform. But we were still observing basically how that is going to affect our user acquisition strategy. But I think given that we have gradually shifted our focuses beyond just paid ads to more kind of content marketing, content-based promotion, that will help us to alleviate some of the pressure that was driven by IDFA.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, exactly. I suppose we'll all find out as time goes on, won't we? Yeah, what happens? But yeah, it's going to be an adaptation for all of us. Well, thank you so much. We've got tons of questions. We could go on forever, but I don't want to keep you. It's been a fantastic talk and an amazing way to end our Art of Publishing track that yourselves kindly sponsored. So we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for not only being here, for making it work throughout all the issues, and for supporting the track. Thank you so much.
No problem. It's a great honor to have me here. Thank you.
No, it's an honor to have you here. And yeah, to anyone in the audience who's thinking of reaching out, you've got all the information there. And this talk's going to be in the video vault that you'll all be given access to. So yeah, make sure to reach out if it's, if you're interested in getting into the Chinese market.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.